Welcome to Spanglish Friends, the podcast for true beginner Spanish learners.
Hola amigos, I'm Val, your co-host and experienced Spanish teacher from Venezuela.
And I'm Em, your Australian co-host who's been learning Spanish for 10 years.
Our goal is simple, to get you confident listening and speaking in beginner Spanish with content you'll actually use in real-life conversations.
Join the Spanish Friends community by subscribing wherever you listen to podcasts and following us on social media at Spanglish_friends. Let's get started.
Comencemos.
Cumpleaños feliz, feliz, feliz. Te deseamos a ti, a ti, a ti. Cumpleaños a Val. Que los cumplas feliz. Hola amigos and happy birthday to our teacher and our profe Val. Woohoo!
This was amazing. Thank you, Emmy. And thank you, Spanglish friends. How special it is that I get to celebrate my birthday with you all. Welcome to episode 11, episodio 11, where we are going to be talking all about birthdays in Spanish. How do you wish someone a happy birthday? And other beginners' vocabulary about age and birthdays in Spanish.
That's right. And to kick us off, I've just done hopefully an okay job at singing about the Chilean version of Happy Birthday in Spanish.
You did amazing job, Emmy. And amigos, it's important to know that each Spanish-speaking country likes to sing happy birthday a little bit differently, okay? So make sure if you are going to sing happy birthday in a specific country that you look up their specific version of the lyrics online so you can follow along with the correct words.
Absolutely. So before getting into today's episode, this week's shout out goes to Will from England, who commented on episode 8 about how to say the colours in Spanish. Now, he said in response to our challenge, which was, what is your favourite colour shirt in Spanish? He said his favourite shirt is la camiseta negra, which means the black t-shirt. Specifically, he said it was his Arsenal football t-shirt. Felicitaciones, congratulations, and thanks for getting involved in our reto of the week.
Felicitaciones, Will. Remember, friends, if you participate in our retos of the week, you can potentially get a shout out in the upcoming episode. So stick around to get involved at the end of today's episode.
Awesome. So let's talk about birthdays, Spanglish friends. By the end of today's birthday episode, you are going to be able to answer these 3 questions that all beginners should be able to answer to be able to start celebrating people's special days in Spanish. Number 1, you're going to be able to ask someone, how old are you? Or how old are you turning? Number 2, you're going to learn what are the common words, the vocabulary you'd need to be able to use at a birthday party or to talk about a birthday in Spanish. So things like talking about cakes, guests, balloons, and gifts. Number 3, final thing is you're going to be able to answer what are the common phrases that you'd say for someone's birthday, including happy birthday or have a great birthday.
Muchísimas gracias, Emmy. Thank you. And we are going to be building also on the work we have been doing the last episode, episodio 10, where we learned to count from 0 to 100.
So, to answer our first question of the day, if I want to ask someone, how old are you? Or how old are you turning? How would I say this as a beginner, Profe Val?
In Spanish, we have 2 ways to ask someone, how old are you? You can either say, ¿qué edad tienes? Which literally means, what age do you have? ¿Qué edad tienes? Or alternatively, you can say, ¿cuántos años tienes? Which literally means, how many years do you have? ¿Cuántos años tienes? Both are perfectly acceptable and understood all around the world.
Okay, so we have ¿qué edad tienes? Or ¿cuántos años tienes? Friends, let's quickly break this down. Normally in English, we would ask someone, how old are you? With the verb to be, right? That conjugation, are you? How old are you? That the way we ask about someone's age works differently in Spanish because instead of using the verb to be, in Spanish they use the verb to have, which is tener. They say instead of you being a certain amount of years old, they say to have years, to wear that amount of years.
Exactly. So I could ask Emmy, ¿cuántos años tienes? Or ¿qué edad tienes?
And so to answer this Spanglish Friends, you would use the reply yo tengo, which means I have, plus the number of the age that you are, and the word años, which means years. For example, stringing this together, I would say, yo tengo 27 años. Now, this means I am 27 years old. But if I literally translated this sentence word for word, it would translate to I have 27 years. But we know we're not directly translating it. We know that this means I am 27 years old in English. Yo tengo 27 años.
Awesome, Em. Great explanation. Now let's jump to another question. If it's someone's birthday and I want to ask them how old they are turning, how do we ask this?
So for this question, amigos, what we would say is ¿Cuántos años cumples? To break the sentence down, ¿cuántos means how many, años, years, and cumples means you turn. So we're saying how many years are you turning? ¿Cuántos años cumples? So let's ask our profe Val how old she's turning this birthday. ¿Cuántos años cumples?
And to answer this question, I would say yo cumplo 23 años. To break this sentence down, I said yo cumplo, which means I'm turning, plus the age number, 23, plus the word años, years. So I said yo cumplo 23 años.
So let's do a quick recap of these phrases we learned to respond to the questions. If you want to say your age, you would respond with yo tengo plus the amount of years and años, like yo tengo 26 años. Or to say I'm turning this amount of years, you would say yo cumplo plus the amount of years and años. For example, yo cumplo 28 años.
That's 100% correct, Emmy. Great summary.
Fantastico, fantastic. Our second question of this episode, which is what are the common phrases that you'd say or that you would hear at a party in Spanish? What's the vocab you need to talk about birthdays in Spanish?
Let's start with how do you say birthday party in Spanish, right? You would say in this case, la fiesta de cumpleaños. This means the birthday party. Fiesta means party, de means of, and cumpleaños means birthday. So this sentence would be literally translated as the party of birthday. Yes, la fiesta de cumpleaños.
That's right. So let's take a quick pause and talk about the use of that connecting word de here, Val, because it's a very important word for us to start introducing and learning as beginners.
Absolutely, absolutamente, Emmy. It's very common connector and very useful for beginner Spanish speakers. In Spanish, we use this connector, de, to indicate possession or description of a thing. La fiesta de cumpleaños means that party is correlated with a birthday. And we can use it with many other things related to birthdays. For example, let's learn how to say the birthday cake. Cake is el pastel or la torta, depending on what Spanish-speaking country you are in. So I can say el pastel de cumpleaños or la torta de cumpleaños, the birthday cake. But literally translated, this would be the cake of birthday.
Right, that's correct. So I remember when I was starting to first dive into Spanish, just how important these connector words are to start building your understanding of the language, start building sentences like de, which means of. And we've got some more examples now of birthday vocab to bring this to life.
A very common one could be el regalo de cumpleaños, which means the birthday gift. Regalo means gift. So I could say el regalo de cumpleaños.
Yes, and we can't forget the most common decoration or decoración at parties, which are commonly balloons, globos. Just think of the English word globes and picture in your mind a bunch of globes floating in the sky. That's how I remember the word for balloons in Spanish, globos.
And of course, a birthday party, una fiesta de cumpleaños, is incomplete without our guest, right? So we need invitados, which means guest.
Yes, our invitados, sí. And of course, if we want to live the full Latin birthday party experience, we need to play some Latin music. La música, okay? A Latin party is not complete without some reggaeton, cumbia, salsa, bachata, and so many other Latin music styles.
That's true. Okay, so now we know some common birthday vocabulary. This brings us to our third and final question today, Spanglish friends. Emmy, how do you actually wish someone a happy birthday in Spanish?
Yes, super important. So let's just say I've walked through the door at the birthday party and I've seen the birthday girl Val. The first thing I'm going to want to say is Feliz cumpleaños, which means happy birthday. Feliz means happy, and cumpleaños in this sense is the completion of years in one word. So happy completion of years, Val.
These literally translations are so funny. I would respond to this with gracias, Emmy. Thanks, Emmy. Gracias.
And I could also wish Val a great day. For example, if I'm writing in my card or I want to wish her in person, the phrase I would use to say, have a great birthday is this: Que pases un feliz cumpleaños. This means I hope that you have a great birthday. Que pases un feliz cumpleaños.
So, amigos, let's put into practice everything we've learned today with a mini conversation in basic Spanish about birthdays so you can start practicing.
Absolutely, because we know that things get cemented in our mind when we put them into practice. So, setting the scene for today's birthday conversation, let's pretend that Val and I are having a phone call. You're going to hear me asking our Profe Val about her upcoming birthday using the vocab we have learnt today. So, birthday girl Val, ¿estás lista?
Por supuesto, amiga. Of course. Comencemos.
Hola Val, ¿cuándo es tu cumpleaños?
Hola, Emmy. Mi cumpleaños es hoy.
¿Cuántos años cumples, Val?
Yo cumplo 23 años.
¡Ah! ¡Feliz cumpleaños, Val! Que pases un feliz cumpleaños.
Ay, gracias, Emmy, gracias.
¿Quieres hacer una fiesta?
Sí, con muchos invitados, pastel y globos.
Genial. Y con muchos regalos también.
How did you go, Spanglish friends? Could you pick up some of the new vocabulary and phrases we've learned today?
Woohoo! If you did, let's break it down. So, I started the conversation by asking Val, when is her birthday? And I asked, ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? Cuándo means when. I used es, which we know means is. And I said tú, which means your. And we know cumpleaños means birthday. So I said, ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? When is your birthday?
Which I replied, mi cumpleaños es hoy. This means mi cumpleaños, my birthday, is hoy, today. So I said, mi cumpleaños es hoy.
And I followed this by asking Val how old she was turning. I used the version, ¿Cuántos años cumples? I asked how old she's turning, to which she replied, Yo cumplo 23 años. She said, I turn 23 today. Then I congratulated her by saying happy birthday, which we know is feliz cumpleaños. And I used the phrase to wish her a happy birthday, like have a great day. I said, que pases un feliz cumpleaños.
Then Em asked me, ¿Quieres hacer una fiesta? Which means, do you want to have a party? ¿Quieres means you want or do you want? Can be both. Hacer means to have, and una fiesta means a party. So she asked me, ¿Quieres hacer una fiesta?
To which Val replied, sí. And she described what she was going to have in her party. She said she's going to have a party, una fiesta, con invitados, guests, pastel, cake, y globos, balloons. That sounds like a good party to me.
Totally. And finally, Em said to me, y con muchos regalos también. Y means and. Con is a connector word, which means with. Muchos, which means like many. Regalos, which means gift. También means too. So she said, y con muchos regalos también.
That was the end of our mini conversation. Well done, amigos, if you started to pick up some of that birthday vocab. You are now ready with some beginner Spanish to go attend a birthday party in Spanish or wish someone a happy birthday. Woohoo!
Now I want to see all our listeners a lot in parties. Now, friends, this brings us to our 3 things we want you to remember from today's episode. If you have already forgotten everything, tune in now and remember just these 3 things. Number 1, how to say happy birthday in Spanish, which is Feliz cumpleaños. Feliz cumpleaños. Number 2, how to wish someone a great birthday. Que pases un feliz cumpleaños. You can use this, for example, on a card, in a text, or in person at a party. And last one, número 3, how to ask and reply to how old are you or how old are you turning. Remember, to ask, we say, ¿qué edad tienes? Or ¿cuántos años tienes? And to reply, you say, yo tengo plus the amount of years, like yo tengo 23 años. And if you want to say how old you're turning, you would say, yo cumplo plus the amount of años, like yo cumplo 23 años.
Thanks, amiga, for that amazing summary. And to finish today off, we have our reto, our challenge of the week. We want you to go in the comments and wish someone a happy birthday. Write in the comments, Feliz cumpleaños, and who you would like to wish it to. You could say, Feliz cumpleaños a mi mamá, which means happy birthday to my mum. Some more examples. Feliz cumpleaños a mi amiga Val. So you say Feliz cumpleaños and then use the structure a mi to say to my, then follow it with the person you'd like to wish a happy birthday. Your mum, your dad, your friend, your dog, your cat, etc. Whoever you want to practice saying happy birthday to, pop it in the comments below. We can't wait to see your answers.
Amazing reto. Genial, amigos. And before I go to eat some delicious birthday cake, tell us, what are we going to be learning next week in episodio 12, episode 12?
So next week, we are going to be learning more about how to say to be in Spanish, which we touched on in our previous episode. So we're going to be talking about things like emotions and locations, such as I'm feeling good or I'm at the restaurant. How do you say this in Spanish?
I love this topic. It's so important and interesting. I'm looking forward to this and expanding our knowledge of essential basic verbs in Spanish. You need to know, Spanglish friends, as a beginner learner. This community that we are building is the best birthday gift, the best birthday regalo everyone could ask for.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, happy birthday, Val, and hasta la próxima, Spanglish friends.
Ciao, ciao, amigos.
Thank you for listening to Spanglish Friends. We are both so proud of the time you're investing to level up your Spanish listening and speaking skills.
If you've enjoyed today's episode, follow us and give the show a rating wherever you listen to podcasts. Or even better, tell a friend about the show. It's how we can help even more people on their Spanish learning journeys and continue to grow our awesome, supportive community.
Don't forget to check out our socials, including Instagram and TikTok at Spanglish_friends for even more beginner Spanish fun.
Congratulations on taking another step today towards your Spanish learning goals. Ciao, Spanglish amigos. Until next time.
Hasta la próxima, amigos.